A little power play here. President Obama, late this morning, heading to Georgetown, right here in Washington, D.C., to highlight one more important link, one more important bridge that's badly in need of repair, and one more reason why Congress ought to get to work and pass this latest, the second plank of his jobs bill, which would provide the money for rebuilding many of our bridges and highways across the country that desperately need it. This is the Key Bridge linking Georgetown to Arlington, Virginia. Are we going to get any jobs bill? Let's check in with a good friend from New Jersey, representing New Jersey's 1st Congressional District in the United States Congress, Congressman Rob Andrews. Hey, Congressman, good to have you with us again.
Good morning, Bill.
So what are the prospects overall now for any part of the jobs bill to get passed? What do you think?
Well, I think that depends upon us rallying public opinion. I think if you talk to the typical person, they want us to get this jobs bill done. The Republicans are not moving. And we've got to do whatever we can to light public opinion up so it'll move the Republicans. If we're unable to do that, then we don't get the bill. It's pretty simple. The Republicans have made a decision that the best political play for them is for the economy to fail, the country to fail, and the president to fail, and then blame it on him. That's the decision they've made, and we just can't let them get away with it.
Well, they voted against the entire jobs bill, right? It was one thing because they said it was too big. They couldn't understand it. So the president says, okay, we'll break it down into bite-sized pieces. The first piece was the $35 billion to keep teachers, firefighters, and police officers on the beat. They voted against that. Now this second plank to basically put construction workers back to work, right, and to repair our infrastructure. They don't seem to care, Congressman.
Oh, no, they care. They care about political power. And they believe that if the economy continues to be stuck in the mire that it's in right now, and the president gets blamed for it, they win the White House.
So they want us to fail,
That's
basically.
what they care about. Mitch McConnell, Senator McConnell, made this very clear. I believe it was on the night President Obama was elected in 2008, that he would get up every morning and work every day to make President Obama a one-term president. So this is about their lust for political power, not about their commitment to making the country better and putting people back to work. It's that simple. It's our job to go out and tell that truth to as many audiences as we can and as many places as we can.
Well, certainly, some of these projects around the country, I remember Ray LaHood always says, right, there's no such thing as a Republican highway or a Democratic highway. Right. So some of these roads and bridges, not to mention water treatment plants and other parts of our infrastructure that are crumbling and need repair, are in Republican districts,
yep.
right?
No,
so in a sense, they're voting, by voting these down, they're voting against what's best for their constituents. I mean, again, I guess, how can they continue to do that and expect to survive politically?
Well, we're going to have to ask their constituents that. I mean, another aspect of this bill that we're pushing in the House Democratic Caucus, when a construction worker gets work rebuilding the Key Bridge, or the bridge in John Boehner's district that the president visited, he or she spends money in the stores, in the restaurants, in the businesses in their community.
Sure.
So this is not just about jobs for those construction workers or those firefighters or those teachers. It's about customers for the restaurant owner or the software company or the furniture store. And if you talk to small businesses, the way Democrats in the House have talked to about 2,000 small businesses in the last month, and we've asked them, what stands between you and creating more jobs? You know, small businesses create 2/3 of the jobs created in America. What stands between you and creating more jobs? What they tell us is a lack of customers. So the president's
lack
plan
of demand,
addresses that
right?
concern. And Republicans claim they're all for small business. Well, how come they're not for this?
The president has then started a series of executive orders. We saw the first one last week in Las Vegas dealing with housing, and then student loans in Denver, and yesterday, a couple of days ago at the White House, dealing with prescription drugs. And each time he does them, he says, I'm doing this because we can't wait for Congress anymore. We can't wait for Congress. As a member of Congress, Congressman Andrews, does that offend you?
Oh, not at all. No, because he's telling the truth, that the Congress is run by the Republicans in the House, who put, by the way, none of this up for a vote, Bill. None of it. The votes that you're referring to earlier were all in the Senate.
That's right.
And the rules of the Senate let just 40 Republicans or 41 Republicans tie up the works over there. So I think he's right to criticize the Congress. I think the public understands that the Republicans are calling those shots, and he should keep doing it because it's true.
It might be better, maybe, if he said, we can't wait for the Republican-controlled Congress.
I would prefer that. I actually would prefer that. I hear you. But I do understand the president is on the mission of describing to the country what he's up against, which is a Republican leadership that's decided that the next election is more important to them than next week's paycheck for their constituents.
Congressman Rob
Andrews. Where they are.
Congressman Rob Andrews is our guest here on this Wednesday edition of the Bill Press Show from New Jersey. Now, Congressman, though, when they say that Congress can't get anything done, it's not necessarily true because last week Congress passed a measure on baseball commemorative coins for the Baseball Hall of Fame by a vote of 416-3. And last night, Congress reaffirmed that "In God We Trust" is the national motto of the United States by a vote of 396-9.
Isn't that reassuring to know that that's the motto still in place? This is the House Republican leadership. So what they've decided to do is ignore the economy so the president gets blamed for it, and then appeal to their base. Each week it's another red meat bill. It's about abortion one week. It's about prayer the next week. There's going to be one about guns in the next couple of days or next couple of weeks. So they've decided that the best plan for them is to ignore the country's problems and ignite their political base. And we just need Bill to go out to shopping centers and Rotary clubs and fire companies across this country and say, there's a choice here, ladies and gentlemen. We can either work on the problems that you're telling us you want us to work on, jobs and the economy, or we can do this nonsense, and that's what they've chosen to do.
So in other words, we don't have time for jobs, no time for global warming, no time for immigration reform, no time for any of the serious problems facing this country, but we've got time to make sure that everybody understands "In God We Trust" is our motto, right?
There was a lot of doubt about that bill before yesterday. But the House Republicans did clear that up. A lot of people thought the motto of the country was, I don't know what they thought it was, but it, you deserve a break today, or I don't know. But this is their agenda. It is to paralyze the president, paralyze the economy, blame him for the country's failure. You know what? Let's take that argument to the election next year. Let's take that argument to the public about what these people are doing.
Yeah.
And I don't think they can go home and face their constituents and explain that.
Well, I got to tell you, Congressman, we'll make a deal with you. You continue to fight the fight from inside. We'll continue to fight from outside. And look, hey, we got Bank of America to change its policies. Maybe we can get some of these Republicans in Congress to crack, too.
Well, people vote with their feet, Bill, and they told Bank of America they weren't going to put up with that $5 charge. I think they're about to tell Mr. Boehner and his group they're not willing to put up with the nonsense they're pulling on the country.
From your lips to God's ears. Thanks, Congressman.
Thanks,
always good to be with you, Congressman Rob Andrews from New Jersey. Yeah.